Welcome to the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. We've got a fast-paced hour of fishing, hunting, and conservation covering the nation and the Northwest, including 13 extra minutes of local content you'll only hear on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
It's Saturday morning, and I'm glad you're here because, once again, we've got a couple of great guests for you today. At the end of our program, we're going to be joined once again by Bob Loomis with Mack's Lure. This is a great time of year to be fishing for walleye in the Columbia Basin, and Bob has got a unique lure for you to use that is also one of my personal favorites. Trust me, it works. As for our second guest, that would be Kevin Jones. Kevin and his brother Eric are the two men behind Jones Arms LLC out of Sequim. They're a new sponsor of our show, and I got to visit their well-stocked gun shop right off of Highway 101 a couple of weeks ago. However, what Jones Arms does best is make custom AR-15 style rifles just the way you want them. We are talking about very high-quality firearms here, and Kevin will tell you more about that at the bottom of the hour. Before we chat with Bob and Kevin, though, it's once again that time to tell you what's hot and what's not. Brought to you by your Puget Sound area Sportsman's Warehouse stores, which have lots of small boats for you. They've got kayaks, they've got canoes, they've got float tubes, they've got stand-up paddle boards, and they've got all the accessories you need to go with them. I stocked up at my local Sportsman's Warehouse store on those accessories, and you should too. Start with the boat, go to the accessories, and have some fun this summer. Doing our weekly check-in with NorthwestFishingReports.com, poster Fish and Fix had a good day fishing on Tuesday at Lake Sammamish between Redmond and Issaquah. He got 6 smallmouth bass in an hour, and one of them was a big 6+ pounder. Fish and Fix also noted the lake is full of decent yellow perch this year. Speaking of Lake Sammamish, Andy Walgamont, the editor of Northwest Sportsman Magazine, posted an interesting blog at nwsportsmanmag.com about tribal gill netting going on there. The Muckleshoot tribe has been test netting in an effort to see if harvesting warm water fish like smallmouth bass could be a viable commercial fishery. So far, they've netted more suckers than anything else, but the implications to the current fish populations in the lake, if the tribe goes forward with this plan on a long-term basis, well, they make for some interesting discussion. If you want to make some money catching pike minnow and turning them in, head to Kalama and fish the Columbia River because Kalama is far and away the hottest spot in the state for pike minnow right now. Anglers turned in an average of 20 fish each last week, which equals a nice chunk of change to the tune of $100 to $160. If you want to find out more about catching pike minnow and maybe making $160 a day while helping out our salmon, go to pikeminnow.org. Something else you'll find on the Columbia River right now are shad, and lots of them. Over 34,000 of them went over Bonneville Dam on Tuesday, and it would be fair to say we are going to have another huge run this year, and if you want to catch a bucket full of them for bait, you can do so right below Bonneville Dam from now through the month of June. By the way, if any of you know how to make shad taste good, if you actually have a good recipe, do me a favor, email me at info@AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com and let me know. My previous experiments have not gone well in that regard. Sticking with the Columbia River, one fish you're not going to find very many of there are spring chinook. The run was a complete bust this year. As of May 28th, 52,500 adult springers had gone over the fish ladder at Bonneville, less than 37% of the 10-year average, and far less than what was forecasted or even the number of fish that came in last year, which was also terrible. Have we hit bottom? I hope so. We don't have much further to go if we haven't, and the Chinook salmon, as a species, may be in serious trouble if these declines continue. And with that, you now know what's hot and what's not here in the Pacific Northwest.
That's your first local shot of the outdoors. Now let's see what's going on across the nation.
From well-known saltwater hotspots to hidden alpine lakes, learn the latest in tips, tackle, and techniques to help you catch more fish.
It's going to be a great show.
Northwest Fishing Reports, Sundays at 5 p.m. on Q13 Fox.
Ready for more local fishing and hunting? You got it. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
We'd like to welcome a new sponsor. It's Jones Arms. They're located in Sequim, Washington. If you wander into their shop, which is right off of US 101, you're going to find a great selection of firearms, everything from rifles to shotguns to pistols, but that's not what they specialize in. No, they specialize in something else entirely. With us here to tell you more about what they offer you from Seattle to Mount Vernon all the way down to Longview is Kevin Jones, who is half of the Jones Arms family. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. Appreciate being on.
I just gave a brief description of what's in your shop, but there's a whole lot more that Jones Arms offers.
That's right. We're a custom AR manufacturer, so if you need something from the entry level all the way up to hunting capabilities, we can get you taken care of. Our motto is get it how you want it, so if you call me up and say, hey, I need this done, and we can get you taken care of.
And this is a lot different than what you're going to find, walking into a big box store where you've got a name brand, whether it's Remington or whether it's CMMG or whatever other company is making that AR. It's not the same as buying a lower. It's not the same as buying an upper. I mean, what you have is really personalized, isn't it?
The main thing that it is if you know what you want, we can help you through the whole process. If you don't know, we can walk you through it. That's a big difference. We've got a pretty good idea of what most people want to go for, and we can help you through the whole process. It's not just, this is what you get. We can really walk you through all the little details from muzzle to stock on your rifle or your need.
And speaking of needs, three come to mind. Number one, personal defense. Number two, competitive shooting, which is becoming really popular. And number three, hunting. People don't think of modern sporting firearms as hunting rifles, but you really do specialize in that, don't you?
That's right, John. We've had a lot of our local customers approach me and say, hey, I need this rifle to do this. I want it to be lightweight, or I don't mind a heavier rifle because I'm going to be sitting and plinking from a distance. So depending on what your needs are, we can always tailor fit a rifle for you. If there's a particular caliber in mind or a particular need for the weight, and we can do the optics and everything in between.
One more thing, their firearms look great. I'm looking at them in person. I'm feeling them. These are high-quality firearms. If you want to take a look at them, drop by their store in Sequim off of US Highway 101, or you can go to their website at jonesarms.com. They've got a Facebook page, too. Just look for Jones Arms. Check out what they can do for you. Give them a call and order the AR of your dreams. Thanks for sharing this with us today, Kevin.
Appreciate it, John. Thanks for having me.
Backcountry hunters and anglers, the men and women working hard to keep public lands in public hands. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Are you looking for a game changer to help you catch more trout, kokanee, and salmon? No problem. Just tie on Mack's Crip Lure. Cast it or troll it. Either way, its specially designed ring chamber emits a low-frequency vibration with its erratic movement. It will catch more fish and make them strike. Better still, the different colors for the lure can be matched to just about any fishery. Look for the Crip Lure from Mack's Lure Company at a sporting goods store near you, or go online at maxlure.com.
Wetlands are some of the most important ecosystems on Earth, but our wetlands are quickly disappearing. Find out how you can help. Join Ducks Unlimited today.
Don't leave yet. We've got one more local shot of fishing and hunting to wrap up the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio.
It's time for another Mack's Minute, brought to you every week by Mack's Lure Company. With us once again, Bob Loomis. Bob, as always, it's great to have you on the air.
Thank you, John.
So, Bob, let's talk walleye fishing. We've been talking a lot about trout, a little bit about salmon and shad over the last month, but I love walleye fishing in the spring because it can be really good at this time of year, especially in places like potholes and Banks Reservoir, as well as the Columbia River. What's a tried and true lure from Mack's Lure Company that just works all the time during the spring?
You know, a good tried and true lure is the Wally Pop. The Wally Pop is a crawler harness setup with an ultralight inline spinner blade, the smile blade itself, as well as made with surgical tubing, which floats, and a pill float, which floats. So as what you get is you actually get a crankbait type movement behind that smile blade. The smile blade rotates. It helps wobble or move what's behind it, and it works tremendously well in all sorts of applications.
I have a confession to make. The double whammy and the Wally Pop are definitely my two favorite walleye lures. Part of it is the smile blade, but I love that pill float and surgical tubing. I have fished this next to an angler who's using metal blades, and I generally outfish him 2-to-1 when it comes to catching walleye. And I don't tell him that it's the lure. I tell him it's all skill. And you can do that too if you're fishing a Wally Pop, can't you?
Absolutely. But I was going to say, you only are out fishing him 2-to-1?
Oh. We'll leave it at that, folks. But suffice it to say, the Wally Pop, it does work. If you want to outfish your fishing buddy, tie one on and you'll probably beat him. 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, who knows? Look for the Wally Pop at sporting goods stores near you or online at maxlure.com.
That's all for this week, but don't worry. We'll do it all again next Saturday morning from 7 to 8, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.